it's about preserving the history. It's about preserving the tradition. It's about preserving what's precious to those of us who are, dare I say, Francophiles or, Louisiana files, if you will. We just really appreciate just the rich history behind it and what it took to get to that cup of coffee.
Hi there, food enthusiasts. My name is Chris Raczkowski, your host again today for the Future Foodcast, where we talk with thought leaders in today's food industry and discuss the trends and technologies that will shape the future of food. Very excited today to be speaking with Bert Dumas, the owner of Maison Bertrand in New Orleans. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. Welcome to the program today.
Thanks
Excellent.
for having me. Seriously, thank you.
Well, we're going to get deep into your current business and all the aspects around that and sustainability, et cetera. But before we get there, tell us your background. Tell us where you came from and what brought you up to owning Maison Bertrand.
Well, it was totally by happenstance. Food is innate within me. I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. Food wasn't the first choice on the list of professions and careers. It ended up being that way. And I've matriculated through hotels and restaurants and secondary schools and recreationally teaching and all kinds of things. I ended up hearing about this old coffee company that was kind of on the downslope and needed some revitalization and with a rebranding just to kind of bring it up to speed in the modern era. It was founded in 1931 as the Monogram Coffee Company, and my team and I sat down and said, "Hey, can we do this? Is this something that's realistic?" And ultimately, we agreed that it was, and so we purchased the company, and here we are today. We rebranded as Maison Bertrand. We added a few things to it, tried to keep as close to the original, recipe and formula that we could. And we kind of added a few things that I'm sure we'll get into. We've tried to keep it honestly Louisiana. And
Excellent.
That's
So
our
you,
main
you
goal.
found this business opportunity, basically brought with you your excellent baggage of experience in working in a range of other places. I understand you also running or maybe owned a bakery a bit north, and sort of bringing to the coffee company the baking skills that you have developed. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I am a formerly trained pastry chef. Not only have we brought, those skills, there's a lot of mistakes that happen too, and we just kind of roll with the punches and again, just try to keep and stay relevant. It's a tough deal, especially, this day and age with so many things that needs to be touched on, thoughtfulness that needs to go into business. But here we are and we're doing it.
Yep. Well, congratulations on this journey that has
you.
brought you to Maison Bertrand. Tell us a bit more about the current business and what you're doing there.
So, as I said before, we rebranded. So we stuck with the coffee, of course, because, that's been around 90 years, going on 91 now, even longer than that from our historical research. I mean, they were only formally founded in 1931, but we're finding documents and newspaper articles and things like that show that they've been doing the coffee since, I want to say, as early as 1924. And so we consider ourselves part of the big four in Louisiana, and the big four meaning the four top brands that people recognize when it comes to coffee and chicory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or traditional Louisiana coffee. We call it just coffee, but everybody else calls it coffee and chicory, So, but yeah, we kept the coffee. We added other products to the family, pralines, which is like a pecan candy in America, and particularly in Louisiana, because anywhere else around the world, when you say praline, they think of almond, and almond and butter and sugar and things like that. But for us, it's pecans and, mixed in with the butter and the sugar and cream and all that. We've also added candied pecans because, pecans is like Louisiana gold. We have them in a plethora, of varieties. And, I want to say short of Georgia, we're probably the second largest pecan producer, in the nation. We've been trying to keep that alive. We've added, we're going to start trying to add some variation to the coffee. not much because we don't want to, extend ourselves too much and get away from, our brand, but, maybe offering, like a light blend or medium blend. A lot of people tend to, you have to be a specific kind of person to really enjoy, the French roast, i.e. dark roast, that we do, but we love it. And those who know it love it too. So we're trying to stay humble and trying to stay on a mission.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's being successful with being in the top 5 or fewer of known name brands. So again, congratulations on that success. And one of
Thanks.
the one of the things that we talk about a lot in this program are concepts of sustainability, which means many different things to different people. And typically, I would say more commonly, people think about sustainability and environment, and at least in the food chain of food production. And I think my understanding is you've definitely making some efforts there with various smallholder farmers, but you also have an aspect of sustainability that you're describing. I think I would almost call it cultural sustainability, where you've bought a company and a brand and you're revitalizing it and you're keeping, as you said, this Louisiana coffee spirit alive. So it's maybe not homogenized from some of those other large brands that we like in airports and such. But tell us more of your thoughts on what does sustainability mean to Maison Bertrand and what you're bringing to this business.
So actually, that's pretty easy for me. If I had to pick a word, I'd probably say preservation. Right? It's about preserving the history. It's about preserving the tradition. It's about preserving what's precious to those of us who are, dare I say, Francophiles or Louisiana files, if you will. We just really appreciate, just the rich history behind it and what it took to get to that cup of coffee, we sip today. And the precious things behind it, as you were saying about the farmholders, I'm sorry, smallholder farms, maintaining the connection and a relationship with them, as well as preserving that history that we have. It kind of links everybody together. At least we think so. It links our past to our present, and hopefully, we'll shine in the future. So.
So my understanding is that you actually reach out to some of these smallholder farmers and work with them, purchasing their coffees and certainly selling them through your stores. I mean, reaching all the way across the world into Africa and maybe other places for this coffee. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. So currently, we only work with about 3 farms, but they're all kind of intermingled, and they're in the Gwiji state in Ethiopia. And thus far, we found that those beans match our flavor perfectly when you think of Louisiana coffee, right? Of course, we're going off of our taste buds. I mean, that's all we can do. We have of course, a formula from 90 years ago, but they don't really go into much detail, when it comes to what type of bean and things like that. So, we had to get creative. Of course, we don't have the coffee per se. We have the recipe that they have or the formula that they have, and we also have the flavor profile. Luckily, the previous owners did a lot of taste research, if you will, just to kind of maintain. So they've played around with beans over the years, and they've used Arabica beans, they've used Robusta beans, and from different places they've used blends. But again, we're going for a specific taste, so that way we can match, if not supersede, our competition. That's the goal ultimately in business, right? Is to make a good product, but also make a good product that people actually want to enjoy. And, as in like the art of war, the easiest way to take over somebody, take over a country or a town is, kind of indoctrinate them into your things by throwing in pieces of what they know, so.
Right. So, this is a significant effort, I think, based on your passion to be reaching out to the suppliers of products. And you can, it's frankly much easier for you. Coffee is a commodity. You literally buy it off commodity markets in probably whatever sort of range of flavors you perceive, which, arguably may or may not be as good a quality as going directly to the smallholder farmers. But how do you, I would say, communicate this passion and this value to consumers? Because these days consumers are very interested in where is their food coming from, where are their products coming from, are they sustainably grown, are the people involved, properly treated, these types of things. And you're doing that, but tell us more about how you communicate that to your customers.
So it's difficult, and we're still figuring it out. I mean, as of now, we blast it from the skies. We put it on all of our products, where it's coming from, the altitude, all the data and the statistics that people want to know now, because we take so much care in making sure that all those things matter, that we want everyone to know, right? Especially with the third wave coffee culture that they have, bustling at the moment. The more information about your bean, the better, right? As a chef, and I don't know if a lot of people do this, but I can go into a restaurant and look at a menu and read on the menu, and I can almost taste what they're saying. The dish is supposed to taste like, just from imagining how they mix the ingredients and the things that, of course, they're not going to put butter, in there, but but I mean, you can imagine that. Hey, okay, I get a general idea. So that's the same type of feeling I want to, give to someone else. They can see that, our beans are higher altitude, grown in a higher altitude, which correlates to the sweetness, and in the particular state, they can do the research about the weather and, things like that. And because we work with our farmers on contract, we're making sure that they are being taken care of. We kind of cut out the middleman, and so then that way they're talking directly to us, and we're not having them adjust their bean in any kind of way. They are the experts in that. They've been doing this far longer than we have, so we let them do that, and then we
Right.
do what we have to do on our side.
That's an interesting point that you're bringing up. You're cutting out the middleman, and not necessarily, because you just want to cut costs or something, but because you want to acquire quality and you want to be involved with the production of your product from the beginning. Do you see benefits for the farmers also in basically you being directly connected with them? It's almost, the farmer almost then has a direct connection to the end consumer. How do they feel about the whole experience?
Oh, they love it. And because they get to see what their beans turn into. They get to
Mhm.
see how it's being utilized. Not to mention, we get to take trips.
Mhm.
We get to take trips, across the world, just to see other lands and experience the ground. Our beans were grown on. Touch the trees.
Mhm.
Just meet the people whose hands and hard work grew these coffee cherries. And it's amazing, and I hope they appreciate it as much as we do. I mean,
Mhm.
but just being able to talk to them and see and hear their passion about something so simple. It's a coffee cherry.
Yeah.
You think, but there's so much work that goes into it. But just to hear that even after millennia, they're still as passionate about producing
Mm.
a good thing,
Mhm.
just from Mother Earth, that can only benefit us,
Yeah.
if we stay in touch. Just it helps. It helps our story. It helps.
Yeah, and it's great. You're describing your business really as a global ecosystem, even though there's a local focus on sort of this coffee culture that you're not only preserving but expanding in Louisiana. Part of that culture is sourced other places in the world, the coffee beans we're talking about now. And I think this maybe brings into a discussion on the technologies that are helping to express this to your customers. And
Mhm.
without some of the technologies that we often hold in our hand in the form of a smartphone, it's very, very difficult to communicate some of this. Of course, you have packaging and you're able to do that, but are you utilizing some of these technical capabilities also to reach out to customers and really help them understand? Because when I see you talk about it, I can see in your eyes and your expression how important this is to you, and it's very sincere and authentic. Sometimes hard to do that in a package. Do you find other ways of expressing this authenticity in your product?
At the end of the day, it's marketing, right? And we're trying to not only market our product, but we're trying to market a feeling, right?
Mhm.
And we connect a lot of our stuff to. We chose the term freedom or free, right?
Mhm.
In Louisiana, in particularly, a lot of enslaved people during the time of, our coffee was founded, or even before then, people used coffee to free themselves from slavery. So much so that they would, sell it in the French market in New Orleans, and they would sell pralines and all of these things until they can buy their freedom.
Mhm.
And so we are trying to invoke that same spirit of freedom. The sipping sets you free. The fact that we talk to our Ethiopian farmers, and just to see the state of their country, is, dare I say, third world. It's not really third world, but
Mhm.
it
It's
is not as advanced, as we
economically,
think the
right.
Western, society is, but not in a technological sense. They have all the tools that they need and are necessary for what they do. And
Mhm.
and for them, preservation of the land is key. It just feels different, over there.
Mhm.
So communicating that to our customers, we want to invoke that feeling by making our products kind of look like coffee bags,
Mhm.
old school coffee bags. And not even old school, but when you get the bag, the green beans, you are seeing the stamp that's on there with the country and the state that it came from, and what kind of bean it is.
Okay.
And so we have our beans in, it's a cloth bag, that kind of has the same thing. Our packaging has pictures of enslaved people dancing in Congo Square, because on Sundays was one of the few days, if not the only day, that they could actually be free of quote unquote
Mhm.
responsibility. And so they would gather in Congo Square, and they would dance and, have church and have fun and eat and sell things. And, whatever their hands crafted throughout the week, they would sell, for profit,
Mhm.
in Congo Square. And so again, that excitement, that enjoyment of life is
Mhm.
what we're trying to, invoke with every sip, with every bag sold. Again, also putting all the information on the packaging,
Yeah.
letting people know even the look, and our stuff is black and gold, right?
Mhm.
Black and gold is typical Louisiana colors. Everybody associates that with our NFL team, the Saints, and
Right.
just the fleur de lis, all those kinds of things. All of that packaged into one to
Mhm.
hopefully give this spirit of, wow, this is truly Louisiana.
Yeah.
And then, but how deep does the rabbit hole go?
Right.
I've been doing a lot of vocalization on social media, educating people about our products, just about food in general, giving baking
Mhm.
tips, giving cooking tips, things like
Mhm.
that, just to kind of attach myself to the brand, but
Right.
also attach people to this educational portion of it. And I
Yeah.
think that over the past couple of years, post COVID and during and post COVID,
Mhm.
we've embraced this silliness aspect
Mhm.
online. And I think people are getting more to the point where they're learning more and they're looking for more educational content. And so, with an outlook into 2022 and so on, I think that people are looking to buy from smaller companies that
Right.
have a story. People are looking to learn more things online to educate themselves outside of school. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
and I think there is certainly an increasing interest in sustainability and understanding of where food comes from. So looking back through the supply chain, and companies are making that possible. I think you're also saying there's an interest in smaller companies because people feel, for good reason, much more authenticity in the people behind those companies. It's product's not just a marketing slogan out there. It's really part of somebody's life, and
right.
people are paying for that now. Probably your company and maybe others. It's a little bit of a struggle of how do you get the message out? You've got all the right content, you've done all the right work, and frankly, your passion is to make coffee and do bakery items, these types of things, and get it out there and build the brand. It's not necessarily a passion to build the next iPhone app or something like that. And therein lies the tension of, well, how do you do the work to tell everybody what's going on when they want to consume through this device, the phone? You want to do your job. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a struggle that's paying off for you on getting out there in social media and telling your story. That
It's
needs
definitely a learning curve.
low friction on that is best for you.
Indeed.
Excellent. Let's shift a little bit to how customers are acquiring your product. One thing we've also seen, and it's almost impossible to have a discussion these days without the word or acronym word COVID coming up. Although it's been a difficult situation for food companies, it's sometimes been actually a great benefit. Obviously, some restaurants have suffered tremendously, but one thing we've learned is that people are increasingly willing to purchase their products via e-commerce online.
Absolutely.
And have them delivered at home. And that was sort of forced upon all of us just, because of this situation. But how are you finding, if at all, that this is shifting your business approach to reaching out to customers in terms of your own bricks and mortar stores, other stores where your product may exist on shelves versus online availability?
Well, I'll tell you, it had me, I had to use my brain. Because I've been responsible for other owners' brick and mortars, whether it be, again, a restaurant or a hotel or a bakery. And I've even, had my own bakeries, and it was difficult. It wasn't so much getting the customer in the door, right? Because a good product will keep a customer coming in. It is about staff and maintaining employees and things like that. The post-COVID shift made me realize, not only for myself, but also, my clients as a consultant, that you have to learn how to sell out the back door to support the habit in the front. That's what I tell them, right? So imagine that you have a bakery that focuses on breads and pastries and things like that, right? The goal is to sell your product that you make in bulk, bread, croissants, and other pastries, to other cafes and other places to contract with you. So now that's money coming in the door every single day. It's guaranteed. And now you can take a breath and a rest and go out front and sell to the customer that may come in or may not come in. You're not, it's almost like white labeling it, right?
Right.
And you're not tied to your product in the sense that you have to sell it to another business so that they can sell it. Their thing may not be making, millions of different breads and millions of pastries. It's coffee, or, so in taking that on for myself with our company, that's what we focused on getting into grocery stores and selling our coffee in bulk to cafes, so that they can use that as their house coffee. Their house blend. The grocery stores, again, so we have just another option in the grocery store for a consumer to pick. We're not saying that they're going to buy it, but it is allowing us to touch more hands, and I guess get to more hands than if I were to go out and say, hey, can you buy our coffee? Or, we have our sales team go out and buy or sell coffee. It's just much easier to put it in the hands of someone else.
Right.
They have a lot of companies out there that work with distributors. While that is fine, they have yet to make the shift to small companies, so they're focusing on companies that are already in, hundreds of stores and nationwide or international, and they want to help you out, but they're also taking a cut of your profit. And while that's not a bad thing, it for us kind of takes away the authenticity.
Also, and I think we've heard a lot, and this is not a new thing, but these large distributors, large grocery chains, etc., they have tremendous purchasing authority, and I'm sure they let you know about that when you're talking to them.
Yes, they do.
And that is a tremendous barrier for small, medium-sized companies. And like you said, it's not always a pleasant experience. And well, I think due respect goes to those big companies for doing what they do, because I think almost all people these days are buying some products from those large stores. It's very convenient. But what we also see developing is this more decentralized, distributed economy, where it's becoming much easier for small producers to make something and not only sell it in their hometown. Like you said, if it's a great product, people are going to buy it, but maybe you need to sell it in several towns or across the nation to actually support, the business. Going back even 10 years ago, you really had to depend on these consolidators, if you will, these distributors that are buying your product and pushing it to the grocery stores. Whereas now you literally can go on Amazon and sell internationally. And are you seeing that as that opportunity as a way that yours or other small companies are able to kind of grow up and support themselves as small businesses?
Yes, I absolutely agree. The one caveat to that is scalability and,
Mm,
being able to withstand the growth. And that's where a lot of small companies kind of fall off the cliff.
mhm,
They're not able to handle the growth at a particular rate.
mhm.
If it grows too fast, they're going to fall off. If they grow too slow, they're going to fall out. So it's about finding the sweet spot. But yeah, I do agree. I think it has given us an opportunity to grow up, in the
Yeah.
business and doing it in a very old fashioned and organic way, because you have more appreciation for the effort that has gone into the dollar that you receive back.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I wonder if I'm sort of just theorizing here a bit as
Yeah.
we're discussing, if this is almost creating a new economic paradigm, is allowing small businesses to do what they want and not necessarily what sort of the business school mentality would say you have to do, grow or die. Well,
Mhm.
what if you want to be a $500,000 a year business that supports you and a couple other people? That might be difficult before, unless you could satisfy a small community like your town. But maybe it's
Mhm.
going to be more possible now. And I wonder if that allows people to run the business they want, not feel pressure to be a million this year, 10 million next year, and 20 million the year after that, but provide an authentic product.
Agree. The great thing about you actually running your business and providing a good product, once it catches on, it's going to catch on, man. People will definitely buy. And so the old saying, consistency is key. It truly is. Just keep at it, and it will grow to innumerable heights. But
Mhm.
you have to maintain. You just have to maintain. And if you are the one going through all the hard stuff,
Yeah.
you're the one doing all the hard work, it makes you appreciate it more. And
Right.
then again, you can start from the bottom, right? You
Mhm.
can teach those who are now doing the job because you did it. And before
Mhm.
you hand off that job to someone else, you can actually know all the ins and outs, all the mistakes that you've made. You can now pass on to them to say, hey,
Mhm.
look, just a heads up, this blah 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 will happen. Just be ready for it. And here's what I did. So,
Mhm.
and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to come back. Give me a holler. Just so I can help you out through the situation. And at the end of the day, that keeps you connected to your staff, that keeps you connected
Mhm.
to your product, and you can always feel like a product is going out that you touched, even though you didn't physically touch it,
Right.
because you've made your mark and put your stamp on the process. At the end, it's about standardizing the process, just as we do with formulas and recipes in the bakery.
Mhm.
Um, the business world is the same, and we have gotten away from that organic growth.
Right.
90 years ago, pre what's the big names? Chase
Mhm.
and the
The
Iron Guy.
industrialists out there.
Yeah, industrialists. There you go. Before that, everyone was growing their business the same way, getting
Mhm.
the word out, talking to as many people as they can, talking about it as much as they can. And eventually it would become a product that's been around for ages, that has outlived, their own human form.
Mhm.
That's all one can hope for. It's something that outlives you.
Well, and that's allows that passion you have to continue. I think you entrepreneurs, product developers, they have this passion for what they do, and they, like you said, they want to feel like they're touching everything that goes out the door, and
Absolutely.
I think that's becoming more and more possible these days.
Absolutely.
So we've learned a lot about certainly your business and your background, but also your passion for bringing special areas of sustainability into your business, everywhere from the cultural sustainability and promotion of a product that is almost a century old, all the way to reaching around the world to work with smallholder farmers to bring very special coffee beans, in your case,
Hmm.
to customers in Louisiana and across the US, probably. What do you see for your business going into the next year or two in terms of what are you hoping to achieve in terms of growth, in terms of further sustainability efforts? What's your focus over that time?
Worldwide fame. I'm all for that. But I would love our product to go international, and it's about tapping into the cultures in other places to see what they are used to. As I grow in the culinary industry, I'm realizing that all of our food is connected in some way, shape, or form. And it's only maybe one ingredient that was added that, it's very similar to something on the other side, of the world. And so if we can find that connection, that will also help for us, because we can tap into those markets, marketing as one product with a similarity in comparison to another. Our goal is always zero waste, making sure that we are, dare I say, lessening our carbon footprint, but just our footprint in general. We kind of want to cloud walk our way to, everywhere we go. And because of that, we make sure that we're either using recyclable products for packaging and or being able to recycle the packaging ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say I'm into melting down plastic and reshaping and things like that, but we haven't gotten to compostable things, but the plastic that we use, we do have glass products that are definitely recyclable and reusable. Our bags, what we don't use, we send to a fashion company that upcycles our bags into new and dashing clothing, and other clothing accessories and fashion accessories and things like that. So our coffee, we our used grounds we send to fertilizer companies, and they've been used in fertilizers, they've been used in scrubs, for the face and the body and things like that. So we try to again use as much as we can and put back into the earth that we can, because our existence is here and possible because of earth. So why not take care of it?
Could be easily overlooked, but I find your response really interesting, and that in a very positive way, of course. And thinking, when asked about your future, you turn to thinking about, oh, this is what we're doing for sustainability. I think the growth and the business expansion is implied and certainly a part of that, but I feel like we're seeing a lot more of this today with entrepreneurs like yourself. It's, yes, we want a healthy business. Yes, we want to employ good people and work together and live healthy lives. But sustainability is really coming, if you will, to the center of the plate.
Absolutely.
And I just see more and more entrepreneurs out there planning their future. The minimum threshold for why am I doing this business is financial sustainability, but I'm doing it for another mission because I love the product and because we're contributing to sustainability in our own way through waste reduction, working with farmers halfway around the world, preserving cultures, et cetera. And it's amazing to see your business doing that.
Well, thank you. I mean, I believe that we have to have a passion about what we do, or it'll stop being fun, right? So that's fun for me. The fun part is being able to, touch and talk to people in a language that I don't know. I wish I could say I knew Amharic, but I don't, but it's great to be able to, hear it and learn words here and there and just, immerse ourselves in that culture. At the same time, it's also fun to be at these fashion shows, Gucci and Louis Vuitton and things like that, and know that that was a coffee bag. You know what I mean? It's those kinds of things that are fun. So we're still taking part in life and having fun, but in a very, again, I hate to overuse the word, but organic way. And sustainability, financial freedom, of course, is always the goal for everyone on earth, right? But unless we figure out a way to sustain ourselves on a consistent basis, there's no way to reach that financial freedom. And so the baseline must be sustainability. The baseline must be to, how do I keep myself in the game with hopes to win the game?
And I would say congratulations and thanks for that attitude, because it is fundamentally different than a lot of business attitudes in the past. And we now, I think many people have this realization that you're expressing, that yes, we have to, the minimum threshold is financial freedom, as you said, but without sustainability, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So Thank you for that. And it's an amazing business that you're running, Maison Bertrand. If you're looking for international expansion, I'm sure maybe Quebec and across Canada might be a good first stop. I'd definitely be enjoying the product up here where I'm sitting in Calgary.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll have to chat offline. I'll send you some. Send some your way.
Thank you very much for being with us today, Bert. It's been a real pleasure having you on the program and looking forward to having you back again.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thanks for listening to Future Foodcast. Future Foodcast is powered by Farm to Plate, the leading food blockchain platform. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts to stay up to date with the very latest innovations in the food industry.